Everybody, Jason Davis here on Compass Football. Davis up front, World Cup special, day 10 at the tournament in Russia. It means it's been 10 days since you thought about anything other than 22 men running around a grass field for 90 minutes. And isn't it glorious, the World Cup, giving us all we could ask for on this 10th day through the 10 days of the World Cup. We're going to take a look at some of the results from today, maybe look at yesterday as well, because of that Swiss win over Serbia and some of the fallout there, and talk about Mexico. I'm wearing a Mexico shirt. Promised I said I would, and here I am, wearing a Mexico shirt in public because they beat Germany in their opener, and they just got done taking care of South Korea in their second game in the group stage, looking very strong, the Mexicans. We'll get to that score line. We'll get to that result here in a second. Let's talk about Switzerland 2, Serbia 1. Serbia went ahead through Alexander Mitrovic yesterday in that match, and then Switzerland came back, got 2 goals from Granit Xhaka and Xherdan Shaqiri. And obviously the talking point out of the game, not just the Swiss performance and what they did to take control of their destiny here at the World Cup, but also both goal scorers making a hand gesture, a nationalist symbol, perhaps, depending on your interpretation, for Albania. Both of those players, Xhaka and Shaqiri, ethnically Kosovar, from the Kosovar region of Albania or Serbia, depending on how you want to look at it. Certainly looking for their independence from Serbia, and that's been something that's been politically touchy for a number of years now, going back to why Shaqiri and Xhaka's families decided they had to leave that region and go to Switzerland. Both players now under pressure to perhaps be suspended for the tournament. Certainly the Serbian Secretary General of their FA is none too happy about the way that this went down and is asking for FIFA to take some action here, saying, in effect, this should be a suspension. We're going to write to FIFA. We'll see what they say. We do have a quote from the head coach of Switzerland, who wasn't happy with his players. Switzerland coach Vladimir Petkovic: "You should never mix politics and football. It's good to be a fan and important to show respect. It's clear that emotions surface. I think on and off the pitch we need to steer away from politics and football, and we should focus on this as a sport that brings people together." Now the problem there for Petkovic is that politics and football are always mixing, especially at the World Cup where nationalist sentiment comes to the fore. This is what the World Cup tends to be about. It tends to be a little bit about that nationalism, and you have a complicated situation here with a couple of Swiss players who ended up being Swiss because their families left their homelands because of the conflict, because of the independence fight for Kosovo. Kosovo's been recognized, their independence has been recognized by 113 countries that are members of the UN. But obviously Serbia still fights against that idea that Kosovo should be independent, and here it comes again to the World Cup, to the fore of the World Cup, that political element. We'll see what happens here. This is going to be, again, FIFA's policies are pretty clear. You can't incite the fans, you can't do political gestures. It's been something that's gotten players in trouble before. This is the biggest stage. Those are 2 of the most important players for the Swiss. Will FIFA be as drastic as to take action against these players for what they did on the field yesterday? All right, let's talk about Belgium and Tunisia this morning. A huge victory for the Belgians as they take all 3 points against Tunisia. Goals from Hazard, 6-minute penalty kick that got the Belgians off and running. Lukaku scores in the 16th minute. You get a goal from Tunisia from Braun in the 18th minute to make it a little bit interesting, but then obviously Lukaku again in the 45th, +3, and just about ahead of halftime. A fantastic finish, chipping the Tunisian goalkeeper, and then you get the substitution. Roberto Martinez was able to take Lukaku off after an hour because Belgium looked so rampant. You get a goal from Batshuayi and you get a goal from Khazri there to close things out in added time to pad the scoreline a little bit. Certainly Belgium looking very good. And I'm one of those people that doubted Belgium. I wasn't sure that they had the experience, the mentality to handle this. Now, I haven't played anybody great yet so far, and that's certainly something to talk about here. Let's take a look at the standings in Belgium's group, because this is a group that they control now. 6 points through 2 matches. Their goal difference is +6 based on the 3-goal win today and the 3-goal win to open up the tournament. Now England plays tomorrow against Panama. They've got all that controversy over the league team sheet and all that nonsense, whether the media should be supporting or helping England rather by keeping that stuff secret. We'll see how the English respond to all of that nonsense. They should be able to beat Panama. They should be able to put a couple goals on Panama, which would then mean that they would be in a tie with Belgium, depending on the goal difference, of course, there. So it looks like the Belgians and the English are going to take care of business, but, let's see. This tournament's already thrown up a couple of surprises, and there's no clear idea yet if there will be more down the line. All right, let's check on Korea and South Korea and Mexico today. 2-1 win for Mexico. Carlos Vela in the 26th minute on a penalty kick to get things going for Mexico. It was a clear as day penalty, handball in the box from the South Koreans. Then Chicharito Hernandez adds a goal in the 66th minute. Well taken, counterattacking goal. Mexico is playing lights out on the counter in this tournament. They did it against Germany with the 1 goal scored by Chucky Lozano. Chucky Lozano came off the game off today. I didn't get a clear idea of what his status is at this point. Obviously, that would be a blow for Mexico if they don't have Chucky Lozano going forward. They still, of course, have to play Sweden, whose Germany is playing today in mere moments here to try to get their World Cup back on track. They have to win the game, of course. And, of course, Son added a goal for South Korea in injury time to make it a little bit better for South Korea. But in the end, this was a great victory for Mexico. They look like one of the class teams of the tournament. If you were going to rank the teams so far that we've seen in this tournament, I think you would have to have Mexico as one of the best performers out of the bunch. I mean, this is not rocket science when you watch Mexico play. They know what they want to do. They execute the game plan. Juan Carlos Osorio's tinkering has been a benefit, not a detriment to the team. I mean, they certainly have been able to move through a couple of different games now, handling every moment. They were organized. They were disciplined against the Germans. They hit on the counter. They got the goal. They won the game today, taking care of South Korea with a couple of goals. And good for Mexico to have Chicharito Hernandez scoring a goal, because he's got to be the man who helps them up top. It gets them goal. Erling Lozano can score some goals. Obviously, they actually have some other nice pieces, but it's Hernandez who's going to have to carry the load up top as the striker. So that's the day so far at the World Cup. Again, day 10, we're waiting to see what Germany does against Sweden. I imagine that the lineups are already out. Whether or not there's any changes at all for Yogi Löw will certainly be an interesting thing to watch for this team. And they got to build some confidence here. They got to score some goals. The Swedish are tough to break down. Let's see what happens there. A couple of other stories bouncing around the World Cup include some poor treatment for Robbie Cruz of Australia, forcing his family to shut down their Facebook accounts. It's a crazy situation there. Australia, not thought to be the most football-mad country on the planet, and yet there they are, some of their fans abusing Robbie Cruz. There's been some attempts at defense by the Socceroos for Cruz, a player that seems to be splitting opinion down under at this point. Socceroos defender Aziz Behich saying that the critics were misguided. It's people that just sit behind a computer that probably have never kicked a ball before. So it's a bit disappointing. He has no part in our game. The people that criticize, I don't think they actually watch the game and how hard he works. So, we've seen this before where players and their contributions sometimes don't jump off the screen or jump out when you're watching a game live, and fans have a tendency to discount some of the important things that players like Cruz might do. Now, Socceroos have not been great at this tournament, obviously. That's part of the problem here, is that their fans are disappointed over the overall performance of their team. And when you're talking about a player like Cruz, it's going to come with criticism. They have 1 point through two matches, does Australia, so far. And look, that's something. They got a draw out of 2 games, but they're not exactly burning up the charts here. And they wouldn't expect to be getting out of winning the group rather with France there, but maybe expectations for Bert Van Marwig's team to be a little bit better so far at the tournament. I didn't take a look at this. I didn't show you guys this tweet. This is from earlier when we were talking about the Kosovo players in the Swiss team, and just an image of Kosovo on Twitter with this shot of the double eagle gesture, double-headed eagle gesture that both Shaqiri and Xhaka used after scoring goals for the Swiss. I mean, we've had a couple of moments of controversy so far in this tournament, most of them related to things on the field, not a whole lot of off the field or political stuff mixing in. This is clearly stuff that happened on the field, but now it could have an impact broader in a broader way. So we'll see how FIFA deals with it. It should be an interesting one. The Swiss cannot lose those two players and have any chance of moving forward into the tournament. All right. That's going to do it for me. Day 10 at the World Cup, live from Macintyre's in Washington, D.C. Thank you for watching Compass Football. Thank you for giving me crap about my Mexico jersey. You can keep hitting us up on Twitter at Compass Football, at DavisJSN. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.